Good morning and welcome to the Crawford County Commissioner Work Session for May 5th, 2021. We start with the domestic relations and Heidi Shatter. Good morning, Heidi.
Morning, Heidi.
Good morning. This morning we're seeking to, I guess we'll eliminate the 4D coordinator position at that office. And then we're also seeking to create a newly created program manager position. Has to be ratified as a certain date, which I don't have yet, but I'll figure that out for you.
All right. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Public safety, Greg.
Good morning.
Morning, Greg.
Morning, Greg.
This morning, we're going to request approval to purchase 20 replacement batteries for backup power at 11 of our communication sites throughout the county. This purchase will be through MobileCom at a cost of $6,784. It's a budgeted item with Act 12 funds, no additional expense to the county. And we're looking to ratify the agreement that you've signed between ourselves and PEMA for the implementation of the Next Gen 911 program through Crawford County.
Okay. Any questions for Greg?
No, sir.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. I'll be leaving.
Thank you.
Greg Beveridge is now exiting.
Sheriff Powers.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning, Dave.
I'm here to request to approve to create 2 full-time positions for county security. I'm also requesting to approve and to create 2 new per diem positions for county security, and also requesting to approve to eliminate 2 full-time deputy positions that are currently vacant.
Okay. Any questions for Dave? Thanks for working with us, Dave. Appreciate it.
And thanks for working with me.
Thank
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
IT, morning, Tim.
Good morning.
Morning, Tim.
IT is here to request the approval of purchase of a 5-year agreement of network hardware and software support from DES D'Agostino for $26,848.80. That would, by getting a 5-year, it's going to save about over $7,000 over the course of the contract.
Thank you.
Second, request approval for the purchase of 10 hours of professional services from DES for $1,150. And lastly, because I've eliminated number 4, the last item is requesting approval for the purchase of 7 Microsoft SQL Server Standard license in SA from CDWG for $18,676.21. And this will allow us to get off of the enterprise version of SQL, which is 4 times more expensive. And we checked with all of our SQL Server vendors that have databases, and none of them require enterprise.
Okay. Any questions?
Tim explained this to me earlier today in information technology language, so I only understood every 4th or 5th word. He did his best, so, but at the end of the day, it will eventually save the county money. So while this money is not necessarily budgeted, he's going to move some money around in his budget to account for it, and in the long run, it will end up saving the county money. So
I assume
I appreciate you looking at it.
assume you heard some of that already. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
County maintenance.
Settle in, this is a long one.
Do you want to announce yourself like, as you would on the coming in on the computer, or no? Just no. Okay.
Morning.
Morning, Mark.
Asking approval to pay invoices for the courthouse remodeling project for new human resources office, in the amount of $385.47.
Okay.
I'm requesting to approve an invoice for the courthouse remodeling project for Folks Flooring America. This was for the new finance office on the first floor for $3,640. I'm asking to pay an invoice from Scobell Company. The old Quality Living Center out there, we had to call them in to fix the boilers. There was a problem with the relief valve stuck open, a relief valve stuck shut. That's for $679.25. Here in the courthouse, Otis Elevator maintains the elevator. The annual maintenance contract is for the following year is due for $10,048.68. And that is up from $9,724.48. Tends to go up a few $100s each year. For the new assembly room doors here, behind me, we had to call in Mark Johnson to run a dedicated electric line and install a controller box for $388. I'm going to pay for it out of my budget, but it'll be reimbursed by a P Corp grant in the future. On the same project, Meadville Plate Glass took out and replaced new these assembly room doors behind me for $7,450. I will pay for that, and it'll be reimbursed out of the P Corp grant in the future.
Nice doors.
Yeah, they come out nice.
Job.
Great improvement.
And we've told you to get replaced in the future, right? But
Huh?
feel good moment. We told you you're
Yeah.
gonna get replaced. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Eads is working on the courthouse window replacement project. Part of it was outside the scope of the contract was to, I want to say it, spec out how to abate and encapsulate lead that was found in the top lintel. Eads is asking to change that part of the contract to increase it $850. The same project, Eads is working on the window replacement project. They submitted a bill that looked to be about 33% of the total contract price, $10,749.94. Last thing, we're hiring in maintenance, another maintenance 1 position. Going forward, I've decided to hire them as a maintenance 3 position, and if they perform well in the future, they would then assume the maintenance 1 position like everybody else has in the past. But it's just more of a vetting procedure during the hiring. But I didn't have a maintenance 3 position. I only had 1, so I want to create a maintenance 3 position. And then in the future, if it pans out to be a maintenance 1.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Planning Department, Mr. Norwood. All those need to stand up and stretch before Zach starts. He's ready to do that. But
Morning, That's just a warm-up for the next one.
First item, we want to ratify the approval of the State Facilities Closure Transition Program grant contract. This was with the Department of Community and Economic Development. The state provided us a contract for $138,494.32. We applied for $100,000. They had increased it to that allocation, so we're requesting to ratify that contract. The second item is requesting approval of an invoice for the Titusville Herald for $188.50. This is advertising for the CDBG's first public hearing for the county, and is paid through our CDBG program. Additionally, the next request is approval of a Titusville Herald invoice in the amount of $163 for a fair housing advertisement notice for CDBG, again paid through the county CDBG program. Item D is requesting approval of a subrecipient agreement with Linesville Borough for their CDBG project to replace water lines along Erie Street. This is funded through the 2018 CDBG allocation of the county. The next item is requesting to ratify a contract with Stifler McGraw to provide a 3-year period engineering services for the CDBG program. The Stifler McGraw was selected through a RFP process. They were evaluated and identified as being the most qualified candidate. The entire program would be funded through the CDBG program, and it is a negotiated price for their services. This first year of their 3-year contract is $60,000. We negotiated with them. They're covering the next 2 years. As our allocations come in each year, we will negotiate the increase to the contract and come back with agreements for amending the contract with them based off of future allocations. The next item is approval of 2 awards and contracts for competitive 2021 grants. through the county's Act 13 at-risk bridge program. The county receives Act 13 funding every year. Per our new policy, we've opened up applications to municipalities and various community organizations to apply for funding. Under the at-risk program, we received 6 applications for bridges. After reviewing those applications for completion as well as evaluating them, the Planning Commission and Planning Office came to the recommendation of awarding the City of Meadville and Townville Borough 2 grant awards. City of Meadville is for rehabbing Clinton Court. This total amount is $68,950. Townville Boroughs is for the replacement of West Fremont Street Culvert 1. The award amount is $60,000. The next item is a request to ratify, and this is an award for a capital investment grant for the 2021 year through the Act 13 program. So of those 6 bridges that were applied for, one of them did not rank high enough to qualify under the competitive, but because the county's Act 13 program does have a capital investment fund, we are recommending to allocate $100,000 out of the capital investment fund for Cambridge Springs Borough to replace their Church Street, which is State Route 408, culvert project. The borough actually called the planning office earlier this week and have indicated that that project is now an emergency issue due to some storm damage this week, and they would like to move forward with it. So we're requesting that be ratified rather than just approved. The next series under H is the Act 13 awards for the Environmental Initiatives Program. Again, the county's put out a proposal for communities and community partners to apply for grant funds. We received 12 applications. Of those 12 applications, 9 of them were selected for funding. Union Township, Linesville Borough, Crawford County Historical Society, Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, French Creek Recreational Trails, French Creek Valley Conservancy, Crawford County Convention and Visitors Bureau, Clear Lake Authority, and the City of Meadville all were identified as being the most qualified projects based off the ranking criteria. The county's Planning Commission and Planning Office evaluated every proposal for consistency with the county's efforts and are putting forth these applications as presented. And then the last item I have this morning is requesting approval of a $220 invoice from Economic Progress Alliance for underwriting services for the City of Titusville Small Business Assistance Grant Program. This is paid for out of Titusville CDBG.
Questions for Zach? Thank you, Zach, for all your work.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Zach.
Human Services, Gail?
Good morning, Commissioners. Do you need to stretch again?
Yeah.
We're probably okay.
First item is ratification, seeking ratification for the payment to the Center for Family Services for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program for administrative reimbursement from 3/1/21 to 4/21/21 in the amount of $14,427.83. There's no cost to the county. Next, seeking ratification for payment to the Center for Family Services for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program for rent, utilities, housing stability, and reissued checks, and the total amount is $119,789.68 for the period 4/14 to 4/19. Next, seeking ratification for a purchase requisition for Gabrielle Bonesso. She's for a speaking engagement at the Titusville High School Decision Day. Presenters and guest speakers are invited to the school to share their expertise on a particular topic. Decision Day is an event that encourages the student body to make wise, healthy, and informed choices. Gabrielle's cost is $1,000, and it would all be paid with Systems of Care grant funds with no cost to the county. And I have a purchase requisition to AHA Process Inc. for the Bridges Out of Poverty training workbooks and training supplements. The total cost is $6,147 with no cost to the county. All costs will be paid with our Community Mental Health Services Block Grant Housing Funds. Next, I have a purchase requisition to Dell for the purchase of a laptop for a Program Manager 2 position. The cost to the county is $84.02. I I have a purchase requisition to Keymark for maintenance support agreement from 7/1 of '21 to 6/30 of '22 with a cost of $1,232. Cost of the county is $188.81. I have a Systems of Care travel expense for 16 members to attend the Trauma Informed Community Development Alumni Summer Institute, June 1st through the 3rd. The total cost is $3,595 with all costs paid with Systems of Care grant funds. Next is a 21-22 Systems of Care contract with Bethany Christian Services of Western PA for the delivery of a social skills support group for children that are affected by trauma. The total cost is $11,280, all paid with Systems of Care grant funds. I have a 21-22 mental health ID contract with Crawford County Mental Health Awareness Program for the delivery of various mental health services. These are the same services we contracted for last year and delivered at the same rates. Next, I have a 21-22 professional contract with Crawford County Consumer Satisfaction Team for the delivery of focus groups, mental health and health choices surveys, independent monitoring for quality surveys, CHIP surveys, and QA&I surveys. This contract will increase by $2,106.74 due to an increase in the reimbursement rate for the value face-to-face surveys as well as the mental health surveys. I have a 21-22 professional contract with Jill Kish for the delivery of student assistance services. The total contract remains the same as the prior year, but the number of months that the payment is spread across will change, but she will still be providing the same amount of service. The total cost to the county is $2,415.92. Next is a 21-22 professional contract with Julie Brooks for the delivery of student assistance program services. Again, the total remains the same, but the number of months the reimbursement is spread across has changed. Ms. Brooks will still provide the same amount of service. Cost to the county for her contract is $1,479.38. And the last 7 items are 21-22 contracts that have no rate changes and no service changes. Child to Family Connections for foster care services. Community Alternatives for mentoring, homemaker, parenting, anger management, and in-home services and counseling. Counseling and assessment services for testing, diagnostics, court testimony, and therapy. CRAE Youth and Family Services for the delivery of foster care services. Outside in School of Experiential Education for the delivery of Pathways to Recovery, Voyagers, and Sanction programs. Titusville Area Senior Citizens Corporation for the delivery of the Social Connections Drop-In Center. A professional contract with Counseling and Assessment Services for various testing, assessments, and therapy. And finally, a professional contract with Woodbridge Counseling for the delivery of emergency mobile crisis outreach and related expenses. Any questions?
Gail, I had one. The Systems of Care travel.
Yes.
Where is that going to be located?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Gail?
I have none.
Thank you, Gail.
Thanks, Gail.
Thank you.
Finance?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where's
Where's
Stephanie?
Stephanie?
For your approval, I have 2 invoices totaling $71,346. The first is to Community Health Services. It's the March 2021 MATP trip reimbursement. The total amount is for $46,840. It comes from the Human Services Block Grant. The second is to the Department of Human Services, fiscal year 1920 MATP refund due back to state. The amount is $24,506, and it comes from the Human Services Block Grant. For your ratification, 2 invoices totaling $683,381.77. The first is to P-CHIP. It is our May 2021 health insurance expense, invoice number 57497-0, in the amount of $677,029.77. It comes from our health insurance premiums line item. The second is to the City of Meadville. It's for the Chancery Lane street repair, invoice numbers 3114. The amount is $6,352, and it will come from the staff parking lots project 2 and 3.
Any questions for Stephanie? All right, the commissioners, and actually, I think Commissioner Stoff was pushing on me, but requesting ratify the approval of the fee adjustment to the PNC custody agreements as recommended by the retirement board. And I would just like to say that Christine Krisiak did a lot of that work for us back and forth, getting meetings set up. So I appreciate the time that you put into that as well. I think we all have come to an agreement that that's a good direction to go. With that, I'll have Commissioner Witherspoon handle the next part.
Okay. Governor Wolf has declared the week of May 2nd to the 8th as Institutional Parole and Corrections Employee Week. And on behalf of the county, we certainly like everyone to take notice of that, and we certainly appreciate all the work that our warden, Jack Greenfield, deputy warden, and all the rest of the staff do out there every day, taking care of those citizens that are at the correctional facility and keeping them safe and doing it the best they can to take care of them while they're out there. So our hats are off to you and all the ladies and gentlemen that work out there, and we appreciate everything that you do. Thank you.
Warden Greenfield, would you like to come up for a second real quick? Just, I'm glad you came today, and maybe give your little summary for us as well so everybody kind of knows the importance for you.
Basically, Corrections Employee Week started out many years ago as Correctional Officer Memorial Week. And over the years, it's included institutional parole and all the other people that actually work inside the jail, which I understand why it has. Those people deal with the inmates like everybody else does. However, corrections officers are of a different breed, and what they do is quite a bit different than what, you know, the case managers or the nurses or any people like that do. What I'd like to do is just read this real brief thing here for you. And it says, if you know a corrections officer, thank them, for they are truly the unsung heroes of law enforcement. Remember, these are the men and the women that stand between you and society's worst nightmares. Not only do they have the most dangerous job in law enforcement, here are a few other known facts about them. Corrections officers, COs, have the second highest mortality rate of any occupation. 33.5% of all assaults in prisons and jails are committed by inmates against staff. A CO's 58th birthday, on average, is their last. A CO will be seriously assaulted at least twice in a 20-year career. On average, COs live only 18 months after retirement. COs have a 39% higher suicide rating than any other occupation, and a higher divorce and substance abuse rate than the general population. That's just a few stats. I've been in corrections 33 years, and I've seen a lot of this stuff, and it is a lot of the bad stuff that, you know, happens to COs and people that work in corrections. But I can't say enough about the people that I've worked with over the years and the people that deal with what they deal with. It's often a thankless job because Joe Public doesn't know what goes on behind the bars. You know, they think that we're sitting there and just watching them do whatever. It's, you know, it's a lot more involved. COs are counselors because they talk to the inmates all the time. COs help the inmates with various things. One of the things that bothers me the most when it comes to corrections officers, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this because I've corrected you on it a few different times, is when they're called guards. They're far from guards. They're not guards at all. Guards work at crosswalks and malls. Okay, these guys are trained on suicide prevention, psychological help, mental health. Mental health has been the biggest issue that we've been running into right now at the jail. And as a county jail, we're just not built for dealing with long-term mental health. But my people have been dealing with these guys for quite some time, admirably. They have stepped up and, you know, a guy comes into work and working booking area and he's sitting there for 8 hours listening to an inmate yell and scream, beat on the wall, do this and do that. And it takes a toll on your brain. It takes a toll on your mentality after a while. But with that said, I appreciate everybody that works at the jail. I appreciate all the support that we get from everybody in the county. And we will continue to make the jail better and better as long as myself, Deputy Warden, and everybody out there is involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jack. Very
Thanks,
nice.
Jack.
Any public comment? Commissioner comments, Commissioner Wiederspoon?
I have nothing additional.
Commissioner Saul?
I echo Commissioner Wiederspan's comments. Thank you.
Wow, that's excellent.
How about that? Spotlight's yours.
I just like to say that I enjoy working with these two. We spent the last couple of days setting up and tearing down some voting machines that seem like they get heavier more towards the end. And we have another half day to go to get ready for the elections. And I appreciate the fact we have a working board and we don't do hands off. We don't hire people to do that. We actually do it ourselves. And that means a lot to me and means a lot to the people. I think that we're that kind of a board. So I appreciate both of you, but I respectfully request the rest of the day off. I don't have to do the rest of the machines. But with that being said, I think we're getting ready for election.
Getting there.
Getting close. The only other thing we'd like to talk about is the schedule's on here for the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. You heard the governor talk about the mandates being lifted for beyond Memorial Day. So we would plan our first June work session to be in person and back to what we would normally do based on those the lifting of those restrictions. So we'll be everybody should be here in the public. Unless there's some circumstance you can't, we'll figure out something else. But other than that, that's kind of our goal, is to get back to where we're at with the first work session in June. So, okay. Thank you.